Okay, so yesterday we talked about the volume of a cylinder, and today we're going to talk about volume of cones. It's very, very similar. The only difference really is that now we have this 1/3 included on our cone. So if you remember yesterday, okay, so our formula is V equals 1/3 capital B H. Okay, if you remember from yesterday, the capital B stands for area of the base. Well, the base of our cone is going to be a circle. So I kind of just replace capital B with the area of a circle formula, which is pi r squared. Okay, so my real formula that we're going to be using, even though it's not on it on the star chart, it's not on it the way that we're going to write it, it's going to be this way. So we need to get this memorized. It's going to be V equals 1/3. I'm changing B for pi r squared, and then I still have H. Okay, so that capital B stands for area of the base, and our base is a circle, so that's why we're plugging that in. Okay, so very similar to yesterday. So let's look at number 1. So I know that my formula is up here, so I'm gonna start plugging in those pieces. So I have 1/3 pi. I need to get the radius, so I need to check and see if I have the radius or if I need to find the radius. So if we look here, 5 just goes halfway across. So that's already the radius. I'm gonna leave it alone, so I'm gonna plug it in. So 5 squared, and then my height is the height of the cone, which is 6. Okay, so now I'm gonna go type that into my calculator. So remember, it's alpha and the button next to it, 1/3, right arrow, pi, second caret top, 5 squared, 6. Okay, so my answer, if I'm rounding to the tenths, is 157.1. Okay. In our calculator, if you remember, the squared kind of breaks up these two numbers, so you don't have to put times anywhere in it as long as that squared is between these two numbers, so you can type it in just like that. Okay, so number 2, same thing. I know I have 1/3 pi. Gonna check and see if I have the radius. Okay, since 6 just goes halfway across, I can leave it alone. So 6 squared, and then my height, it's just turned sideways, so my height is now 10. Okay, so my radius and diameter when I'm looking is always going to be part of the circle. Okay, my height is going to go from the tip of the cone to the base. Okay, so now I can type this in, alpha and the button next to it, so 1/3 pi 6 squared 10. So if I round to the tenths place, this 9 is going to bump here, and this 9 is actually going to bump over here. So we actually get 377. All right, number 3, same steps. 1/3 pi, check on my radius. So if I look at my circle where I'm going to find my radius, this one goes all the way across. So to get the radius, this right here is my diameter. Okay, so my radius is half of my diameter. So I'm going to take 8 and divide it by 2, okay, which is 4. So I'm going to actually plug in 4 squared, and then my height is 11. So I'm going to type it in, 1/3 pi 4 squared 11. So when I round, the 0 does nothing to the 3, so 184.3. All right, on number 4, same steps. I have 1/3 pi. I need my radius. I'm going to look at my circle. Okay, the 9 goes all the way across, so I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to take 9 and divide it by 2 because my radius is half of my diameter. So when I divide by 2, that's actually 4.5 squared. My height is 10. 1/3 pi 4.5 squared 10. Okay, so my 5 is going to bump my 0 to a 1, so 212.1. Okay, it might be helpful for you to go through and look at all of your circles and go ahead and change like we did on this one. Go ahead and change any ones that are diameter. Go ahead and cut all those in half so you don't accidentally forget to do that and you accidentally don't plug in the wrong number. All right.